Hi everyone, my name is Tora Dahl. I am the head of dialogue of ISFiT 21 and I would like to welcome you to this event. 10 years ago, ISFiT invited students from Armenia and Azerbaijan, two countries that have been in deep conflict for over 30 years, to dialogue seminar at Røros. The meaning of the seminar was for the students to create a better understanding of those on the other side of the conflict. Now, 4 participants will reunite to talk about their dialogue experience from 2011. The conversation will be facilitated by Steinar Bryn from the Nansen Academy, who has long and extensive experience with dialogue work from the Western Balkans. Also joining the conversation is Martin Melvær, who was the head of dialogue in 2011. With us, we have 4 participants from the dialogue seminar in 2011. That is Elina and Tatovik from Armenia, and Anar and Aygun from Azerbaijan. They will share with us their experiences of the conflict, and also how the dialogue might have affected their lives for the past 10 years. And now that the war has broken out again, do they still have hope for peaceful coexistence? We hope that you find this talk enlightening, and that we all can better understand the impacts and the challenges of dialogue in violent conflicts.
My name is Steinar Bryn, and I work at the Nansen Academy in Lillehammer. And I'm very glad that we managed tonight to organize this conversation. I am a strong supporter of ISFiT because I know, and I've been cooperating with them for almost 20 years, and it's volunteer students that gather people in Trondheim. This year, unfortunately, there is no big festival, but people are meeting on Zoom, and I'm very glad that we together tonight have 2 people from Azerbaijan and 2 people from Armenia who participated in the dialogue group that met in 2011, 10 years ago. And Martin, back then you were head of the dialogue group, and I would just like to start to ask you, what was the intention? What was the goal and the meaning of gathering people from Armenia and Azerbaijan back in 2011?
Well, first of all, let me just say it's very good to see all of you. It's 10 years after. No, the goal was, to create, to increase the understanding of the other side, try to create a space where people from each side could have a good conversation without all the other strings attached, or to try to find some common ground. So the goal, I guess, was to, this is from my memory, of course, we probably had some much more well written goals for this, but to create understanding and to give the experience of meeting students from the other side and to find some common ground. I think that was the main points.
This is the first time that actually it's been organized a reunion. So Aygun, Anar, Elina, and Tatovik, you are front runners. You might now start a new tradition in ISFiT. And I would like to ask all of you to, briefly comment. What do you remember from 10 years ago? What was that maybe stood out, or maybe even made a difference in your lives? Eigen, maybe we can start with you.
So throughout the program, I was then, I don't know, in my 20s, mid-20s, and because it was the first time that we were meeting, and I was kind of preparing a lot, reading historical things, checking facts, building arguments, and I was feeling myself responsible for my country and how to respond, how to be a good Azerbaijani in, these interactions, how to, it was kind of, I knew I was going to a dialogue, but still another Aygun in me was like preparing for a kind of, let's say, debate rather than a dialogue. And I was trying to build strength, to be strong, to look strong. But okay, I will share how I feel about it now, maybe later in the second and third run. That time, the feelings were overwhelming. I don't know how I looked from the side, you know better. But inside, I had like super emotional condition, mixture of feelings, anxiety, fear, feeling uneasy, some pain, and also excitement also, because the program itself was really exciting and also again anxious. So I learned lots of things. We will probably come to this later, but I just wanted to say how it went that time, like internally, which I didn't have a chance to share that time, because that time I was mostly focused on how to be a strong, person from our side in this dialogue. But for me, that was mostly like a debate kind of thing.
I had this kind of meetings. We call it people diplomacy. We had this kind of meetings before. I had this meetings with our neighbors, Armenians in Turkey, as our colleague said. I had meetings with Armenians in Georgia, in France, in Germany, within the frame of dialogue. Different levels. We had meetings on like in the frame of European Council, and then we had meetings with non-governmental organizations, trying to bring us together, find solutions for our common problems in the region. But this time it was totally at these meetings. You were assigned in a hotel room, so 2 hours, 3 hours, you were given a chance to meet in a frame of some time schedule, and then each side were telling his stance, his position, and that's it. But this time, Norway actually not only explaining your ideas or expressing your opinions, you had real opportunity to practice peaceful coexistence under the same roof. Like you sleep in this room and the next room, someone actually at that time you call, I don't know, adversary or even in the same room, and to be able to spend like not only 2-3 hours together, like days, I don't know, weeks together. So that was a unique actual chance in terms of not only us. I mean, beside us, there was people from Rwanda. I remember there was people from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. They were also a member of these dialogue groups. And when we started this dialogue in Norway, I was thinking, oh, we are the most grief-stricken region. We are the most problematic region. But once you start hearing other side, Rwanda people's stories, or Ireland, you will never think that, okay, Ireland in the middle of Europe, you're a member of European Union, it's a civilized, developed country. But once you start learning their experiences about the conflicts, then you start thinking twice that no, there's another not visible part of the ice. So because of that, I think it was really good experience, good platform, and organizers did a very good job by bringing those people together, at least to listen to each other and show that they can peacefully coexist and talk to each other and listen to each other. That was the most important thing for me. That was the lesson I took from this ISFiT 2011.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anar. I think that ISFiT is special. To take dialogue so seriously and take not only dialogue seriously, but have this energy to attack some of the most difficult conflicts in the world has been what ISFiT has done. But then on the other hand, we were just talking about it. Obviously, we are not the leaders of the world. You know, we are not deciding. We don't have a deciding power. And the war last fall was extremely brutal, again, between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And I just wanted you to briefly share how the conflict has been affecting you personally, you know, your families, and how you look at the world. And of course, you know, the next thing we will go into is, let's say, but just comment, you know, briefly on how this has affected you, so we feel where you are at the moment.
Unfortunately, today I am in United States, San Francisco, directly the result of this conflict. Personally, I'm from this region, Nagorno-Karabakh, and I'm actually from the center of Nagorno-Karabakh. I used to live like 15 kilometers away from Stepanakert, and I was 10 years old when this conflict started, and then I witnessed all this war things myself, like 10 years old, and then lived a couple of years in tent camps, and then moved to the refugee settlements, and after that, Canada. Now I'm United States. So this conflict cardinally changed my life in a bad way. So I know what it looks like. How, I mean, I have seen the most horrible scenes you can imagine in the world: brutality, killing, captivity, hunger, everything. So I wish anyone. The worst peace actually is better than the best war or the best conflict. I don't know if there's such a saying. So once you have never lived this kind of feelings, you will never understand. If you have never given a birth, you don't know what is the pain of giving a birth. If you have never lost your child or your wife or your husband in a war, you don't know how it feels actually. So in order to prevent it, we were supposed to avoid the second war, because we already experienced this war in the beginning of 1990s. So, but actually these years, I don't know, people didn't take lessons from both sides.
Yeah, first, let me tell you that I totally agree with Anar saying that no normal, adequate person would ever praise war or want war if they've seen war, right? I mean, if you experience that, you would never want another one to happen, because so many thousand innocent lives were lost in between. For what? I don't know. I don't even understand what was the, you know, who lost, who won this war. Not the first, not the second one. We need to have more dialogue in between people, but at the same time, there have to be a political will from both sides, right? So we cannot have state propaganda from one side having very anti-Armenian, you know, views, but on the other side saying, you know, after all these losses that we have to cooperate. For me, it was very painful. I was here during the whole war in New York City, away from my homeland where I lived most of my life. But, you know, living in this bubble, reading social media, seeing those horrible videos, every day waiting that my brother would be the one who would be called to the front line to fight. And I was praying every day, although, you know, I was eager to see that my country is defended, and I understood that no one will do it for us. At the same time, I didn't want to lose anyone close to me to the war. I was not ready for that. And when after this peace agreement, some people maybe in Armenia or even in Azerbaijan are not satisfied with the outcome, and they said, you know, we should have continued because we lost the region, so, you know, they gained whatever. I would never imagine that I am ready to give up someone close to me just for some territories. Yes, this is homeland for both of us, or both our sides consider this is a homeland, and people were living there. I understand that, but I was personally never ready for that, and I was praying every day that the war will stop today. Because personally, I deleted my social media accounts. I couldn't bear the negativity and the hate speech and these horrible videos. I mean, you don't even want to see them. You scroll down the newsfeed and you see the, decapitations, beheadings. I didn't want to do that. For days, I couldn't sleep. I've seen these horrible videos. I mean, I couldn't sleep. Really, I was sleep deprived. Whenever I wanted to go to bed, I closed my eyes and I saw these images passing through. I knew the people who went there, they don't want to talk about it. But personally, someone who is so connected, because my whole family is there, everyone I know. I mean, here it's just in New York City, it's my husband and my kids, but my whole family is there. So we have roots there. And waiting every day that something will happen, a new person will be called to the front line, or seeing so many families in so much pain. Even now, I was thinking about, going to see, to seek for a psychological help, to talk to someone about this. Because if it's a person who have never experienced this, who never thought that, this person could be your brother or your friend, or whatever, you can never share these things with other people who are not in the conflict, who don't understand what it means to be an Armenian or an Azerbaijani who lost so many innocent lives of 19 years old. And personally, for me, I don't just want to talk about this so much because I know we are short in time, but it is still very difficult. Even now, when I speak about it, I feel pain in my chest. Honestly, and I'm the person who didn't lose anywhere close. I know people who lost, but not someone from my direct family, and I thank God every day for that, because you barely find a family in Armenia that didn't have any kind of loss during this war. The bad thing is that even after so many losses, I am not sure what future we can have after this. So what we achieved with this war, I don't see how can we, I would love to be neighbors, see people. I look to Eigens and Anna, I see there like people like me, don't want to war, they love their families, they want to be happy wherever they are, they don't want so much pain. But at the same time, I read the news and I see there's so much anti-Armenian propaganda. I see the captives, the hostages that are still in Azerbaijan being, humiliated and mutilated and whatever. So I want to have the image of Azerbaijani as Eigens and Anar and other participants. At the same time, media and whatever is happening there doesn't let me have peace in my mind and in my soul. I don't know whether I try to explain what I'm feeling, but it's very difficult for me, very difficult topic to talk these days.
I was going to say, we understand, but as Anna pointed out, we don't. That's a kind of mistake or myth about dialogue, that if we dialogue, then we can understand the other. It's very difficult to understand the other. It's not enough to just walk, some miles in somebody else's shoes, because to understand the other is maybe even impossible. But you described this pain of war very well. And Anna also pointed out, how is it possible? Why didn't we learn the first time? Why is this happening again for the second time? Tatvik, how do you feel today?
Well, it's even more difficult for me to start because I experienced both wars, unfortunately, and in a personal level. Like my childhood was in shelters, and I lost my uncle, and I saw my relatives coming from Sumgait and experience like their kid, like my aunt's kid, like just killed in front of her. So I mean, it's not really easy. But again, like continuing what Elina and Anar said, is that I saw the war, and I even have a story written in Armenian, saying even like addressing everyone, not only Azerbaijanis, like, but addressing everyone who can have in their mind to think that a war can be a decision. I mean, how can a normal person think that war can be a good solution? I mean, it's nonsense. How can people just pay and just, I don't know, like spend their brain, the money and everything to create weapons to kill other people? For what? For what? The question was really politicalized, very, very politicalized. And during the war period, we had there was like a chance, as Lavrov, now I'm going a bit of diplomatic things, Lavrov was saying like, okay, like the solution can be giving back this 5+2, and then the status of Nagorno-Karabakh could be decided, but there was no agreement. So there was no all in, like in poker, as you can say, all in. It was all in this war. And for me, it was really, really painful, because I knew that, okay, war would be over, but what's next? What's next? Now coming to this pragmatic side. During 90s, Armenians won, although, you know, I don't like this, because in war, no one wins. No one wins. I mean, I lost relatives. I mean, this is not winning. So like, but in terms of this, now Armenians won. And then there was a revenge from other side. Azerbaijanis like were preparing for 26 years, and they won. We lost. What's next? Are we going to do this? I don't want. And many of our societies that we don't really want. I mean, we don't. This forced war was a disaster, and it's like twice disaster for me, like to have my mother in my home city, and she was again in the shelter, and I could not help her anyhow. I mean, my brother was in war, and now he's disabled. I mean, three surgeries, but still he is disabled. And so many people are disabled. I mean, for what? I mean, I know that there are some 3,000, maybe a bit less for Azerbaijani official, like people from Azerbaijan also died. I mean, why the hell we do this, right? I mean, I don't really understand. I mean, I know how mothers feel. I mean, mothers are mothers regarding national, not, I mean, regardless of nationality. I mean, we have both, what we do, we are just victims of monstrous policy. I'm really sorry.
Eigen, how is your situation?
Yeah, you just mentioned that we think dialogue is for understanding the other side. Actually, for me, it's also important for understanding myself and learning so much about myself. I experienced physically, because I was like 7, 8 years old, and sleeping, and in the middle of night, you are woken up in horror that we have to escape, we have to run. Otherwise, you can get captured. I mean, on the emotional, I don't know, mental level, this conflict and nightmares, at least once a week, I used to have. But it even got better, as Tatevik mentioned, when I became a mother. And I have 2 daughters. And I started having, again, this crazy thoughts in my brain haunting me. As if when I was looking at my children, I was seeing as if they are in captivity, as if we are falling captive, as if, you know, the war started again. When you hear a loud noise outside, feel like attack or something is wrong. I have grown up with this, and I don't want my children to grow up with this thing as well.
You just confirm, in a way, what we know, you know, from the past, that the cruelty of war, but the cruelty of war also on the individual level. And as you all, in a way, testify, you know, there is no there is no real winner. I've been working, with conflict and dialogue in very brutal conflicts in Kosovo, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where people somehow almost have given up the belief that it's possible to unite, to share society, to find ways, to live together. But we know also through history that the successful stories of reconciliation has been when students have been reaching out. I'm thinking specifically about France and Germany. They had 3 brutal wars within only 100 years. But after World War II, the student exchange and millions of students crossing the borders, trying to communicate, trying to establish a new relationship was successful in the way that actually France and Germany are today very different countries than what they used to be during these wars. And that ISFiT again could invite Armenians and Azerbaijanis to come together. And how could we, first of all, is it worth it? Which I feel from all of you that you think, what is the alternative? But how can we improve? How can we do it better the next time? How can we be stronger? And maybe we could have done more to somehow follow up that work that was done in 2011 and the work that was done, in the Nansen Academy back in 2006, because there were people from Azerbaijan, Armenia coming, and somehow what could we have done better? Tatvik, your comment about the future. How can we continue to work for dialogue and reconciliation when the wars are repeating themselves?
What I would comment, maybe based on our experience, for example. So we were cool. We were trying to make the dialogue in Norway, etc. And then we were even friends in Facebook. But after the ISFiT, one of our friends, Akshin, who is not unfortunately here, he apologized and he said that he has to remove me from his Facebook account because he might be controlled or something, or so I don't know, whatever exactly the reason was, but he was not feeling secure to have an Armenian friend among his Facebook friends. So for me, I understand him completely. If you live in such a country where you can be controlled, so it's really difficult for you to keep the relations. I'm not sure that in this very moment, Azerbaijani and Armenian participants will influence the politics for now. 10 years ago, I could think, but maybe there might be some politicians to involve, I guess. Not just ordinary citizens, but politicians. That would be my suggestion.
If you have something special you want to tell each other or even ask each other about, now that we have the opportunity, could come up with an even better way, to even continue this communication between each other. I have appreciated a lot to listen to all of you. And I feel that you have strong, influential voices.
I have a question to Eigens and Anar. I was just wondering whether when the war broke and you were feeling that this is a monstrous war, whether anyhow you discussed with your friends that this is not the solution. This is a wrong thing that is happening.
Mm-hmm. In our close environment, of course, especially those who have families, because we don't know how it's going to end, how this would be, how it would result, So we were very worried, very much worried, and don't know what's going to happen. And especially if you have all these unresolved feelings, memories, things, so they come up. And for some reason, I have no question. Because also I want to say something before my connection is lost again. That during the last 10 years, I have been going through a personal, let's say, transformation. It's not only about related with this conflict, but lots of things, you know, that we all started learning, like looking inside and understanding ourselves, growing and getting mature. And one question that really like always helped me throughout the way is like, what do I scare? What am I scared mostly? What do I fear? Because during the first meeting that we were, and after that, I was like mostly in the denial position, you know, and feeling empathic, understanding the other side. When I started getting some understandings and feelings in the initial years, like period, I was in a denial, because what I was scared is like, as if I'm betraying my own pain, my own past. And this is actually what is happening to people. So people, it's not so easy to tell them to forgive, to forget, you know, just have a different view, because for people to have a different view is like you are betraying your own pain. And why this is scary? Because we think it's going to happen to us again. And so this fear and pain, and then growing anger, these, you know, so I understand. Yeah, this is what's taught me, like the years. And then after some years, I put aside somehow, I made the list, the reasons why I said that, okay, I will start, and I have watched so many Armenian videos to understand their pain and their fears. And I made the list for myself whenever I started feeling for Armenians. And so that I look here, they did this to us, they did this to us, they did to us, so that I don't forget and I don't betray my pain. And, you know, because that is so scary. You feel like if you understand the other side, you're doing something bad because you are forgetting about this. But, you know, this helped me so much. You know, at the end of the day, I felt so much expansion in myself, in my soul. And so it made me grow so much. So whatever you maybe organize or reorganize, I think using our own experience in terms of how we took the courage and facing, you know, this, what questions, what ideas, what thoughts help us to expand inside, to grow. We could actually think about it. Maybe we can write about it, we can share about it, that we could use it in the future programs, I don't know, ways that we work with other next participants. And so this was, I wanted to share. Thank you.
Just an idea came to my mind, and I just wanted to ask whether we can be fine with this. So till now we have lots of Armenian prisoners and in Azerbaijan. So what if we make a joint statement and demanding or even asking Azerbaijan from our group to release the Armenian prisoners? And there are women as well there. I mean, at least one woman I know. I mean, this can be a really humanitarian act, and the Dialogue Academic could work in it at both sides, and us can be, you know, like the ones who also like younger generation, and we ask the government to release prisoners. I mean, this can be a really good start of this dialogue thing, or I don't know, like.
It should be and must be released. It doesn't matter. Azerbaijani prisoners in Armenia or Armenian prisoners in Azerbaijan. Whatever we need to do, we absolutely can do it. We have to sign paperwork. We are ready to sign paperwork. We are supposed to, I don't know, organize a protest in front of United Nations headquarters in New York. We can do whatever it's supposed to do. We can do it for release of. It's a humanitarian aspect of the conflict. So, but the conflict is not there. Conflict is over. So, right now, the most powerful voice is Vladimir Putin's voice. Whatever he says, both sides are gonna do his decision, follow his decision, and his foreign minister Sergei Lavrov. So whatever they decide. So like I think 7 days ago they released like 6 Armenian prisoners.
5.
Yes, and then they give back 1 or 2 Azerbaijani prisoners. So I think it will take time, but at least there's efforts, and we have to, if we can speed up, accelerate these efforts, these initiatives, it will be better.
Yeah, that's what is my mission. I mean,
this war was not only devastating in terms of losses of human lives and, you know, so much pain, but we also lost hope. For me personally, I lost hope for reconciliation for the moment. For the last 15 years, I've been in different projects with Azerbaijanis, you know, whether that's a dialogue group or just a colleague from Azerbaijan with whom I was preparing my daily broadcast on the public TV or on the radio, on Radio Free or whatever. So I have so many interactions and so many good connections. I was hoping that little by little, step by step, we are coming close to each other, know each other, and stop this madness which is happening to our countries and societies. But we took such a huge leap back with this war, because I have the feeling that these all years that I, in my young years, have done a lot, I thought, yeah, but this all was in vain, because we lost all we have gained through so many years, trying to understand each other. Like, what happened? We tried so hard to build something. It was so fragile. And then this war took not only human lives, but our hope for the future of coexistence. We are destined to live with each other, but somehow now, even me being in the United States, sometimes I plan to go back, and I don't understand how we are gonna live next to each other after what happened to us. Not me personally or you, I give no honor. I understand that's not your, you know, personal thing, but there should be political will. As long as there is no political will from both sides to stop hate speech, to stop propaganda, to stop teaching children in kindergartens to hate Armenians, stop telling that we are the enemy, telling all these, you know, unchecked facts and stories horrifying about Armenians, it's not gonna end. It's like in the movie, it's the circle, it's the closed circle. We are going round and round. You know, you thought you had lost something and you thought it 26 years later. Now Armenians gonna thought they lost something and they gonna, I mean, do we want this kind of future for our countries, for our societies? I don't want it. We have to, I mean, I was happy that in Armenia we had this revolution in 2018, that we elected a person who, you know, we finally established democracy, because he could hear us. He was our voice. He was the voice of demos. So I was happy that, and I'm very much hoping that one day soon Azerbaijan will have the same, because as long as the authorities do not listen to people, they will speculate this conflict for their purposes. They will play with human lives, ours, our children's, our grandchildren, for their benefit, for oil money, for whatever reason they want, for prolonging their regime in Armenia or in Azerbaijan, doesn't matter. So we want I want both sides to have democratic regimes so we can talk to each other, because if a government wants us to hate each other, they will teach in the schools to hate each other. We cannot stop 1 people, 100 people, even 1,000 people knowing each other and interacting with each other in hundreds of projects. Cannot cease this. We need political will, and for that we need to have democratic governments.
Right now, you know, it's very recent. It's extremely difficult to mobilize people for dialogue and reconciliation when the losses are so fresh. When we talk about reconciliation, it's a long-term process. I belong to a group which is very, it's called Shared Society. And it's people from Israel, Palestinians, Jews. It's people from Northern Ireland, Catholics and Protestants. It's people from Macedonia, Albanians and Macedonians. And we're trying to look at how can we share a society. And as you say, in Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenian Azerbaijanis, they will have to live side by side in one way or another. And it was, in a way, very strong words, Anar, when you said, when you came to ISFiT, you discovered that this conflict was not so unique. You hear people from Ireland, you hear people from Rwanda, and you can mention actually a lot of other countries around the world that are struggling with this. What is amazing is that we, the people, after thousands of years on this earth, have not cracked the code on how to live together in the best, possible way. But again, there is no alternative. We cannot give up. And I'm just very thankful on behalf of ISFiT, on behalf of the Nansen Academy, we were capable today to organize this meeting. And I wish that we can find maybe a way, to communicate and continue this conversation. I wish we can develop this into something strong. We have to. I mean, in a way, we are committed to that. That's why we are here.
That would be really great to have this regional Caucasus dialect center. I mean, even though now saying that the war just stopped and the emotions are hyper high, etc. But from one moment anyway, we need to find a way. Like I don't know. Like I will input all my energy not to let the war happen. I mean, if it is, I mean, if I know that I can help. I don't know. I can help to build a democracy in the region. I will invest everything. I mean, because I want to live in peace.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity, because for me personally, 10 years later, especially after the war, this is a very valuable experience. This interaction, it helps me to heal from from this war reality that I've been experiencing for the past few months. It helped me to see at least two people on the other side of the screen who think like me and who want peace, who don't want to, any more war, heinous crimes, whatever. So this image, I've been working with Azerbaijanis for many years, and I always considered them like peaceful people like us, and I thought whatever was happened, it was a terrible mistake. And then during the war and after that, I somehow lost the image of a friendly Azerbaijani, if you understand what I'm saying. Suddenly all the people that I knew, I started to check their social media, and I saw that the people were so friendly, who were talking about peace, who were even in touch after those projects were over. Now they're like posting horrible things on social media. I would never ever expect them to say to my face or even think about me. I mean, I thought those people are different. My colleagues, journalists, I don't know, editors, whoever. And then I saw just only few people I know from Azerbaijan, either they're silent or they were calling for peace. And then I lost hope that what if everyone is like them? What if everyone hates Armenians? How we are going to live with each other? And now seeing Eigens and Anar really helped me in a way to see at least those people I know. Seriously, it's a healing experience for me to see that still on the other side there are people who don't want war, who don't want to die, who don't want these crimes to be committed in 21st century, and who want to use their potential for other things more valuable for humanity other than killing each other. So for me, this was very helpful. Thank you for.
I understand extremely well what you are saying, when part of the problem is the propaganda by teachers, by the curriculum in schools, by how we raise the kids. So to bring kids together across the ethnic divide is the way we have been working in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I had a strong experience over Christmas because Radjubov, a chess player from Azerbaijan, and Levon Aronian, a chess player from Armenia. They both reached the final in this Norwegian tournament that went, it's not a Norwegian tournament, it's Magnus Magical Chess, but it's live on Norwegian television. And Martin, I don't know if you know, but I got the 3 minutes live on that broadcast. And I said, is it possible that Play Magnus could support, you know, some kind of chess interaction? Because then you don't need to physically cross the border. You can have a school in Armenia, you can have a school in Azerbaijan, you can have maybe a school in Norway, and we can unite. Because chess has a powerful position in Armenia, and chess has a powerful position in Azerbaijan. And of course, you know all the people, Kasparov and so forth. So there is some bridge building potential in chess that we could explore. And I love you.
We love you back.
Should we then say good night and we'll meet again?
Yes.
This is not the end, it's the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully.
For
Hopefully.
some people, good night. For some people, good morning.
Yeah.